some thoughts about that. Self-parenting. It sounds kind of unusual at first. You're thinking parent myself, but stick with me because this idea might just shift the way you relate to yourself entirely. I think it's going to be pretty mind-blowing. It's good stuff. Okay. Meanwhile, if you're new here, welcome. I'm glad you're here. My name is Karen Marinez. I'm an emotional wellness coach, and I help the exhausted woman who struggles to feel comfortable in her own skin, has low self-esteem, so she overextends herself to please others. And I help you to identify and process your emotions so you can find peace, passion, and purpose. Isn't that what we all want? I'll give you a moment. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. I'm going to drink some water. I appreciate you doing that. That helps the message to get out to others, and then you also will get the alerts when I'm coming on. Hit the bell as well, so that when I get on, you can be reminded by YouTube. Okay. As you're coming in, please say hello in the chat. I'm sending a shout out to all of those that are going to see this later on, because not everyone can be here on a Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I appreciate you. And shout out to those watching on their couches. You're not in the chat. You just want to lay back and watch me, or you're in the bed with the remote. I appreciate you being here. We're happy you're here. All right. So let's say hello. Ooh. We have my dear Elvin. We have Reignite Your Radiance, who just did her first live on Sunday, which was a huge success. Very nice, Giordana. Luz, hey Luz, she's one of our members. Celeste, a hand wave is assertive communication. Interesting. Yes, Celeste. Welcome, Celeste. Mariela Gutierrez en español. Bienvenida, Mariela. Qué bueno, qué gusto que estás aquí con nosotros. Leah from Windsor, Connecticut. Good to have you. Maggie. Hey, Mag. So good to have you. It's always good to have my friends in here. And all the newcomers, you're my friends too. So what is self-parenting? Oh, Nora. Hey, Nora. Good to have you. So, self-parenting at its core, or something some people call reparenting, is a practice of giving yourself the care, attention, and emotional regulation, note this, that you may not have consistently received while you were growing up. So it means you learning to become the nurturing, protective, and wise presence in your own life, essentially becoming the parent that your younger self needed and you still need today. Now, one thing for sure, it is not about blaming our actual parents or our caregivers. Most of them did the best they could with what they had at the time. But self-parenting is not looking at our parents, biological or otherwise. It's about stepping in ourselves where the gaps were left, especially when it comes to emotional support, boundaries, self-worth, and even discipline. Very interesting. Why does it matter? Why is it important to parent ourselves, reparent? Because so many of the struggles that we face, it could be anxiety, which we've been focusing on for the last few weeks, self-doubt, people-pleasing. It could even be emotional burnout. All stem from inner wounds that were never really addressed. And we're walking around with these wounds. They're wide open. A little boop, and we're triggered. And often we're still operating from that wounded child inside of us because we're walking around. And so when there's stress, the emotional situations, trigger, trigger, trigger. Anxiety, all the things. Self-parenting is a way to heal. It's a way to give that inner child the voice, validation, and safety that they may not have had. Speaking of you. And when we do that, we respond to life not as children from a place of fear or lack that we talked about last week. Children are, I want it now. I'm afraid, I need protection. But we go from that to self-trust and compassion. How beautiful is that? So I want to ask you a question. Why do children 0 to 18-year-olds years of age need their parents? Can you put it in the chat? And meanwhile, I'm going to say hi to some more of these beautiful people in here. Sarah. Hey, Sarah. Every time I see her name, I feel to do that. Tiffany. Hey, Tiff. She's one of our Inner Circle members. Leah, we are glad to have you back. And Nora, thank you for joining us. It's always good to have our good people here. Why do you think children need parents? Need. Jasmine, hey. Nora says for guidance. Nice. Very nice. What else? What other reasons do children need parents? It's a need. Why? Oh, Maggie says brain is still developing. Very good. Yes. Leah, food and shelter. Yeah, basics. Exactly. Nora says for protection. Very. Oh, y'all are on point. Sheila G. Hey, protection. Yes. Comfort. Tiff, nice. Oh, y'all are on it tonight. Maggie says love and security. Jasmine says correction. Oh, those are all confirmation. Yes. Very, very, very good. It's all about survival for a child from 0 even to 18, right? Can you leave a 5-year-old at home and say, baby, I'll be back in a week. I left the food in the fridge. If you need anything, call your aunt. She's, around the corner. You can't do that because Luz says for everything. Luz is a mom. Yes, right? You can't do that. Children do not have the skills to survive. A lot of you mentioned it, comfort, love, but like Leah mentioned, food and shelter, just the basics. They cannot do it without. And then protection, confirmation, correction, love, security, guidance. They do not have the skills to survive. They don't. And the younger the child, the less skills they have. So, how do you construct yourself as a parent to parent yourself? Here's one thing. This is very, very important. Are you ready? Accepting that you are, let me tell you the secret, above 18 years old. We won't ask any age here. Don't panic. But I know you're above 18 years old. And so you do not need your parents today to survive. At this point in your life, they're in your life to share experiences with, if you're blessed to still have them alive. They're there to enjoy out of your abundance as an adult. They are not mommy and daddy to help you survive. Adults do not need their mommy and daddy anymore. So here's a question. Listen good. Is there evidence in your life that you're capable of caring for yourself, of being the adult? We talked about the adult last week, of parenting yourself? Or are you an adult, I say in parentheses, still depending on mommy and daddy to survive? And let's say this too, mommy and daddy don't necessarily have to be your biological parents. You could have adopted parents. Your parents don't necessarily have to be alive. They can be deceased. We're going to talk about that later. And you're now out of sorts because you don't know how to live without them. It's one thing to miss them. It's one thing to spend time with parents. It's a very different thing to depend on them for survival. And this is financial, emotional, physical, mental. We're going to get into that as this progresses. So is there evidence in your life, when you look at your life, you look around, does it show that you're capable of caring for yourself as an adult and that you could even take on the position of parenting yourself? Here's an example. Person A is irresponsible with money. I want what I want. I want everything brand name. I want expensive trips, whatever the thing. And I can't afford it. But it's all right. I got daddy's credit card here. He said I could use it whenever I'm in a bind. But is wanting a designer bag a bind? But I want it. Well, then that's the little kid. Kids want it now. And they don't think, they can't devise a plan, they cannot strategize. An adult says, I want it. If I save for 6 months, I can get it. I don't look to daddy to provide that. Or I can have as many children as I want. My mom will take care of them, or my mom will even raise them for me. These are just examples, right? So that exhibits I'm still a child. That exterior world shows I'm still 0 to 18 years of old, relying on mommy and daddy. I cannot stand in my own adulthood, and let alone parent myself, because we have to at least be adults to then parent ourselves. Last week's live was about adulting and how to be our adult selves. Feel free to watch that after this, okay? So remember, we talked about anxiety in its truest sense. It comes from the thought of, I am going to die. I cannot defend myself. Again, 0 to 18, 5, 6, 7 years old. Why? Because I don't have anyone to protect me. Child, right? You're 35, you're 46, you're 52, you're 67, you're 72. You don't have anyone to protect you? Or again, daddy left, or he passed away, and I don't have direction in my life anymore. My life is a disaster now. Mommy, when I had problems, I would call her. She was always there for me. In contrast with, listen to the difference. I miss my dad. And this is truly me talking. I miss enjoying life with him. My dad passed away in 2014, almost this month, 11 years ago, on the 9th. And we shared a love of food. And every time I go to a really nice restaurant, I'm like, oh, I wish I could have brought him here. If he was alive, I'd be like, you got to come. Let's make plans. And I would have brought him and my mom. The four of us with Elvin would have enjoyed that. So do you miss sharing and enjoying life with your parent? That reflects adulthood. Or do you miss that mommy and daddy can't carry me anymore? Get me out of financial or emotional binds. Help me to confront issues in my life. And I'm 25, 35, 46, 68 years old. You see the difference? Hey, Renee, good to have you here. So self-parenting is important because we get to show ourselves we're not alone. We're not abandoned. We are not without protection. We're here for ourselves. We're taking responsibility for ourselves and our actions. I got you. I got you. We're good. We're not stranded. We're not in any danger. You see how that can help the anxiety? Because you say, we got this. We're good. You have to talk to yourself. You have to tell yourself that. When you wake up and your chest is pounding, your mind is back at 5, 6, 7 when there was perhaps danger, or later, 13, 14, when something traumatic happened. And when you wake up, your mind, just like we talked about last week, you can have a dream and it feels so real. You could wake up sweating, huffing and puffing, right? Like, oh, you think it's real. That's how the body is with anxiety. It could be something that happened 15, 30, 40 years ago, but your mind still thinks it's danger now. But you becoming the adult, you becoming the parent of yourself, you say, no, no, baby, we're good. Look around, everything is fine. You know how a little kid, my nephew, when he spends the night, we have to have a night light on. He doesn't like the dark, afraid of it. And don't ask him to go out. Oh, go get something out of the living room. He's like, it's turned all the lights on. And when he sleeps on the blow-up mattress and next to our bed, and he pushes the door closed. He can't even have the door open because he's afraid. What is he afraid of? We've locked the doors. We're adults. We know this. We've locked the doors. The windows are shut. There's no danger. But in his mind there is. And it's so sweet. He'll have a fit if I share this with the world when he gets older. But I hold his hand because he lays on my side of the bed, and I hold his hand, and then he can go to sleep. because that gives him a sense of security. Like, he calls me Tia, Auntie's got me, right? We have to do that to ourselves. You wake up, the panic has begun, the anxiety. Sit up. You're going to feel it, and it's like, oh. But remind yourself, we're grown. We're okay. Look around. Everything is fine. We're safe. All is well in my world. And that doesn't take away anxiety, but it can make it a little more miniature. It can bring down the intensity. We do our diaphragmatic breathing laying in the bed. Lay back down if you can. And remind yourself that what happened in the past is not what's happening right here, right now, today, at this moment. Take responsibility. Step in as the adult, step in as the parent and say, I got you, baby. It's okay. Like him holding my hand, and then he goes right off to sleep. It's the sweetest thing. Auntie loves it too. Okay. What does self-parenting look like? Let's talk about it. Okay. Number one, you tune into your inner dialogue. So notice how you speak to yourself. Would you talk to a child that way? The way you speak to yourself on a daily basis? If the answer is no, try shifting your tone. Be kinder, be gentler. Offer reassurance like the parent instead of criticism. You don't deserve criticism. Talk to yourself as you would talk to a friend. Give yourself grace. Be kind. And give yourself space to be imperfect and make mistakes. We are a part of the human club. We cannot do things perfectly. It is impossible. We cannot, what's the word? Do amazing in every aspect of our lives. Some things will be lacking, some things we'll do amazing with, really great, we'll shine. But over here, we have some work to do. We do the work. I make a mistake. Oh, man, I made a mistake. But it doesn't mean, I don't even like to say the words. It doesn't mean that I'm that horrible person or that I don't have any sense. I'm human and I made a mistake. Let me learn from it and let me move on. Pick myself up and move on. That's what I would say to a good friend. If you're a good vitamin person, that's what you would say to a friend. Oh, and a lot of my clients say that, Karen, if you heard me talking to other people, oh, I know what to say. I encourage them. I tell them, and they say, I laugh at myself afterwards, like, you need to apply that to yourself, right? Are you that person? You can dish it all. You can lift people up. You can encourage them, cheer them on. And you give yourself the worst tongue lashing. Ooh, because you made a mistake or you didn't perform well at work or whatever the thing. Let's be kinder to ourselves. So that's one way, is tuning into our inner dialogue, at least being aware of it, and then we can work on adjusting and changing it. That is so important, because you listen to yourself, you talk to yourself way more than you talk to anyone else on the planet. You're with yourself 24/7. So try to be a better friend to yourself. Number two, validating your emotions. Someone had said, yeah, oh, Nora had said, for guidance, right? We'd look to our parents for guidance, 0 to 18, and protection, comfort. Tiffany said comfort. And then Maggie said love and security. All those things are in our inner dialogue. We can speak to ourselves in a very beautiful way. I'm sorry, I just have to pause. Someone had said, oh, and I didn't acknowledge it. Celeste said, a hand wave is assertive communication. Interesting. You were looking at the video. Yeah, everything we do is communicating. It communicates something to the other person. July 1, we're going to start a course called Assertive Communication. Stay tuned. It's going to be really good. And you're going to learn ways to communicate better with yourself, with others. The pictures in the video were beautiful. Families, young children, grandparents, couples, all of that. We need it, because who taught us how to communicate well, right? Leah says, everybody's cheerleader, and I'm learning to be mine. And it's so refreshing. Yes. So we want to be our own cheerleader. Number 2, validate your emotions. If you're feeling overwhelmed or sad, don't just say, I don't have a reason to be sad. No, I just got to pick myself up and move on. Can you at least acknowledge that you feel sad? Imagine a child coming to you for comfort. Now, I asked a client this one time, she cracked me up. I said, what if a baby kid, like a toddler, 2 or 3-year-old, came over to you, was your daughter, and she said, I'd be like, what you do? And that cracked me up. But typically, you wouldn't say, what you do? Get over it. You would say, what's going on, baby? Well, I'm here. What's the matter? I see you're hurting. What happened? And they, maybe they fell or whatever the thing. Do the same thing for yourself now. Can we talk a little about grieving? It just so happens that in the last couple of weeks, quite a few of my clients are grieving the death of a spouse, a parent. Yeah. I want you to know that grieving is normal. Even our Lord Jesus Christ grieved. Okay. When he found out about the death of his cousin, he went off to a lonely place. He probably prayed, cried, wailed. That was his cousin, right? So it could be a death. Grieving can also include something that we endured in our childhood, or maybe we're grieving a marriage that has been dissolved, or a child that has strayed. Whatever the thing is, can we give ourselves permission to grieve? I talk to clients. Number one, they don't want to recognize it. They minimize what they go through or have been through. And then they say, if I allow myself to cry, I might go down a rabbit hole I can't get out of. I'm afraid. People are afraid that they'll break if they allow themselves to cry. So here's a suggestion. This is a little tangent, but here's a suggestion. Grieve with boundaries. You say, boundaries? How? This is what I tell my clients. You're afraid that you're going to break. I promise you, you won't. But tell yourself, I give you permission for a day. You could pick a day, or you could say 2, maybe 3 tops, if depending on your schedule, to wail, weep, kick, do whatever you need to do. And you say, I'm going to give myself permission. Today is Tuesday. I'm going to give myself till Thursday to cry, scream, wail, weep. But first, I have to acknowledge that this thing happened. A lot of my clients, they say, yeah, I always say that, yeah, I mean, that was bad, but the people have been through worse. Yeah, they have, but that's them. Can we acknowledge that you have something to grieve, that this childhood that you had was totally abnormal, traumatic, tragic sometimes, and that here you are now still standing. You are amazing. But we have to grieve what should have been, what could have been. If only I had more protection, correction. I'm looking at the notes, love and security, confirmation, right? So we can grieve with boundaries. It'll make you feel, if that's the time, more in control, because some people are just afraid. They rarely cry because it's like, if I start, and it's usually an example of our parents that held it down. They were, did what they had to do. And that they never said don't cry, but that's the example we saw. Mama was going through all this stuff, and I never saw her cry. Maybe she cried in private, but I never saw her do it. And she would get up and she went, right. But the body requires that we grieve, that we let out these emotions. Better out than in. It is such a relief to feel and release our emotions, cry, scream, whatever, wail, whatever it is. These things are so deep. Better out than in. You have a stomach ache or you have stomach poisoning, your body will it out. And 5-10 minutes later, you're like, oh, you feel so relieved. You wouldn't want your body to hold on to that. So let's do the same thing with our emotions. Don't suppress. Don't hold it in. It's so toxic for your body, for your mind. Let it out. Okay. All right. Back to this. Let me see. Celeste said, thank you, I need it. Leah says, love that. Grieve with boundaries, better out than in. Yeah, it is. Okay. Number 3, we're talking about what does it look like to self-parent? Set loving boundaries. We're talking about boundaries. Let's continue. Children thrive on healthy boundaries. They feel safe. That was somebody said safety, security. They feel safe when, even though they may buck up against it, but curfew, homework first, then you get a snack, homework, then you could play outside, all those things. Or you could have your phone after you finish your homework, you can play on the phone for an hour. Children eat up because they know it's love. They feel safe when somebody says, oh, make sure you lock the door behind you, be careful with, right? So self-parenting involves knowing when for you to say no. Now you're the parent and you're saying, no, that's not good for us. And you listen to it. When to rest instead of just pushing. And then what happens? We get sick or something, right? Or we're just so exhausted. We have patience for no one because we're exhausted. We should have laid down. We should have said, oh, it's 9:30. I need to be getting into bed. Start getting ready for bed, right? When to step away from harmful dynamics. It could be toxic people. And I'm going to share enough. This is a night of secrets. Toxic people can even be family members. I have clients that feel bad, that they're like, my mom is so bad. Like I get off the phone with her and I feel terrible. Boundaries. Set the boundaries. And it could be toxic situations, toxic people. We only want vitamin people because we need to lift ourselves up. We deserve to be happy. So set loving boundaries. Okay. It also involves, and I talked about that last week, that we were going to talk about finances, spending boundaries for ourselves. A person whose life reflects adulthood does not spend beyond their means. They're responsible for themselves. They make sure they pay themselves first. They set aside, even if it's $10, $15, $20, whatever the budget allows, if $100, whatever the budget allows, they set aside a savings because they want to have an emergency fund in case there's an emergency. When there's an emergency, what does the adult do? They can handle it. They don't look to mommy and daddy as their backup plan, their insurance policy. They're fully independent. Or there are people who go around looking for replacements of mommy and daddy. I don't have clients with this, but I know people who spend their rent money. They have the money and they expect the landlord to wait for the rent. They say, oh, he doesn't need my rent. He's rich. That house is paid for. He doesn't need it. That's none of your business. Pay for what you've used. This is business, right? Or we heavily depend on the credit card. And so we're making the bank out our mommy and daddy. But the bank is like, yeah, but I'm going to charge you huge interest. And it's a vicious cycle. So you see how when we take responsibility for ourselves, we step into adulthood, we allow ourselves to parent ourselves as well. Our lives, oh, there's peace, there's congruency, there's stability, there's balance. Because we're grown. We're responsible people and we take responsibility for ourselves, not the child. I want this now. I'll pay the rent. She could wait till the 15th when I get my next check because I want these pants from the store. No, we handle our business. We take care of that. And listen, we need a place to stay. We need to provide security for ourselves. So the adult and then the parent says, no, we're not going to spend this. I understand you want it, but we have to have a place to stay. We need to feel secure. We're going to pay our rent first and our bills, and then whatever's left after savings, if there's something left, we can buy that. If not, we're going to have to wait till the end of the month or 2 weeks from now. You see the adult to the child always wants it now. The child always wants fun. Number 4, offer your self-care. It means getting enough sleep. Sometimes we don't get enough sleep because we're so busy giving to everybody else. We're run. And then it gets to be 10 o'clock, and now we have time to do our things, whatever that is. And we're up till midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Or we keep ourselves in this thing, and the anxiety kicks up so much, we suffer from insomnia. The body can't bring it down because we have all these things in our mind. We're not doing and caring for ourselves. So now we have all these concerns and worries. So let's get enough sleep. Let's feed ourselves well, nutrition, right? Be responsible. I don't want the broccoli. The parent says, but you need the broccoli. Your body needs those vitamins, right? Paying our bills on time, brushing our teeth. The child, I don't want it. You have to brush it. The child is, but we have to be the parent and say, but we have to do this, baby. It's okay, but we're doing this. So show up for yourself in small, consistent ways. It reinforces that you're worthy of care as well. When a parent sets loving boundaries for the child, when they don't yell and scream, they direct, they communicate, they guide with love, that child walks around and grows up with a sense of security like no other. Because mommy and daddy were always there for me. They weren't helicopter parents, but they provided such stability, such security. So that's what we can do for ourselves. Show up. Be a source of security and calm for you, for yourself. Prove that you're worthy of care. Remind yourself of that and that you're capable, listen to this, of providing yourself with that care. As a little child, we were depending on our parents, but now we're grown, we can give it to ourselves. Isn't that amazing? And it gives us our power back. It's so beautiful. And number 5 is revisit the child within. Try connecting with your inner child. You could journal or you could use visualization. Ask yourself, what did I need back then that I didn't get? And again, we're not looking, I wish my parents, they didn't do this. No. They did the best they could with what they had. But now we're in the driver's seat. We're the adult. Are we choosing to act like adults? Are we allowing ourselves to parent ourselves? What did I need back then that I didn't get? And how can I give that to myself now? Wow. When I learned this, it was life changing. And so many, when I'm working with clients, mommy and daddy neglected, abandoned me. But when I'm talking to them and I ask them how they care for themselves, or they start telling, I can tell they abandon and reject themselves every minute of the day, every day. So I bring that to their attention so they could, okay, mommy and daddy didn't do it, but now that you're an adult, you can do it. Don't do what they did. You cried when they would leave out the door and abandon you, when they never showed up, they never came back. Don't abandon and reject yourself now. You can do, but and it's society. We think if they're not giving it to me, I can't have it. But can you, people, imagine you have a parent that's deceased or both parents deceased. Now you're supposed to just walk in limbo for the rest of your life. No. You can parent yourself. It's powerful. Don't ignore yourself just because you were ignored as a child. Give attention to yourself, to your needs. Take time to sit with yourself and figure out what you need. Some of us are afraid. That's why we stay so super busy, taking care of everybody else and everything, because we're afraid if I sit still, we're afraid that we can't handle it, or we don't want to think. We don't want to pay attention to what happened in the past because it seems too overwhelming. I'm just going to leave it back there. But your body feels it. Your mind feels it. You're carrying this emotional weight every day, all day, 365 days of the year. So whether you want to think about it or not, your body thinks about it. Your body remembers it. That's where illnesses come from. Let's get ahead of it. If you feel to cry about something that happened in the past, it's okay. Cry. You want to laugh? Laugh. You want to journal? Journal about it. Get better out than in. And you may journal about things that you never had the courage to tell a single soul about. That's good. Journal about it. Get it out. All right. Anybody have questions? The gentle truth. Oh, Elvin says, please don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, please. The truth is, self-parenting is not always easy, right? In fact, it can be very emotional because you're stepping into a role that no one else could fully fill, but you can fill it. Now you can fill it. You can be your own mommy and daddy. And there's something incredibly powerful about becoming the person that your younger self needed. Did you used to cry yourself to sleep? You had whatever the thing, whatever the need was, you get to rewrite the story. You get to become the safe place for yourself. And there goes the road to healing. How beautiful. Some people say healing, other people say que es un reencuentro con uno mismo. It's finding yourself again. And sometimes we can just say finding yourself. I have clients, they have no idea who they are. They've spent all their life taking care of other people. Went from the parents, maybe they were the older child and they helped mom, and then wife, mother. The kids are grown with their own families out of the house. And the woman is like, who am I? I have no idea what I like, what I want to do. I have all this freedom because I raised my kids and I threw myself into that. And I was great to this husband of mine. Sometimes the husband's still there, sometimes he's not. What do I do now? So, all of that, we need time to sit, start journaling. What's a good prompt? Because some people have said that, but what do I say? That's it. What did I need back then, maybe 4, 5, 10, 11, 12 years old, that I didn't get? And how can I give that to myself now? That's something to sit and think about. Feet in the grass, if you're a grass person, sit in an Adirondack chair out in some park, sit on the boardwalk, find the time, make the time so that you can become that safe place for yourself. It's a hey, she says, processing all the information. Tiff says, when revisiting the child within, could there be multiple things we could be dealing with? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And so you take them one at a time. And again, without fear. Anxiety comes from, I don't have any protection. I'm lost. I'm unsafe, danger, danger. And you say to yourself, no, baby girl, you're fine. I got you now. We're good. We're safe. Look around. Everything is fine. You're going to be okay. You're not going to break. Let's start writing. Because some of us go to journal and the anxiety comes. Because let me tell you something about the brain. The brain loves to be comfortable. If it's for the brain, we would never do anything outside of our comfort zone. It's like, why do that? Just, look, we're good. Just sit down. So if the brain feels that writing in this journal about something that happened in the past that was traumatic, that we've been trying to block and not face all these years, is going to cause us harm, discomfort, all right, let's set the alarms. Let's go. The anxiety starts so that you take that journal and you put it down and say, okay, maybe tomorrow. But I promise you, the brain needs to be told, look, we're doing this. You're going to be fine. I got you. We're going to step out of our comfort zone. But how unfair to make our comfort zone a place of toxicity. That's what we're used to. Let's step into a calmer zone by caring for ourselves better, whether it's journaling, whatever the thing is, and dealing with the things that the child went through back then. And then you're free. Once you get through that, it'll be hard. You'll weep, you'll wail, you may throw yourself on the floor. Give yourself a couple of days, give yourself grieving, allow yourself grieving with boundaries, but then it doesn't have such a hold on you. And you could be freer, right? Reignite Your Radiance says, rewrite the story. Isn't that beautiful? It just says, lately my favorite thing to start my journal is asking myself, who is it to, and let the ideas flow. Go on, girl. I love that too. Yeah, who am I? Caretakers, mothers, the whole gamut. We have to figure ourselves out, and that's the purpose of these lives, so that we can look in a mirror and say, who am I? What do I want out of this life? What's my passion? What's my purpose? What brings me happiness and joy? What elevates me to a place that, right, I'm there, euphoria. What does that? I have to figure it out. It's for each and every one of us to figure it out. That's where the parent says, oh, you want to try ballet? How about piano? Or do you like soccer? Do you want to try, right? And eventually the child figures out what they like and what they're good at, what they excel at. Do that for yourself. Lose said, who this? Exactly. Look in the mirror and ask that question. I love it. Y'all are too funny. So if the idea of self-parenting resonated with you, I think it did just from the comments. I invite you to take one small step this week. Pause and say, what do I need right now? I call it taking your emotional pulse. What do I need? What is my body? And especially if you feel anxiety or your body is tense or you feel disoriented, you wake up and you just don't feel like yourself. What do I need right now? And then try to give it to yourself. I encourage you to try to, if you suffer from anxiety, especially in the mornings, which most people do, wake up a half hour earlier so that when you get up and you feel that, you don't have to push your body to get up. You can lay back. You can be sweet. Okay, baby, lay back down. I was telling somebody about this recently. My mom, when she would wake me up for school, it was always a drama scene. And I said she probably woke me up a half hour early because she knew. And it was always, can I have 5 more minutes? Can I come in your bed and snuggle? She's at my bed waking me up, and I'm asking, can I go lay down with you and we snuggle? And she would say yes. Now looking back at, obviously, because I never was rushing to the bus stop or late to school, knowing her child, she woke me up a half hour before because of all the drama, because I never wanted to go to school. Can I just stay home with you? All the things. And the parent said, no, you got to go, baby, da, da, da. So why not gift that to yourself? Get up, set the alarm for a half hour earlier than usual, than you need, because anxiety is triggered as well by rushing. We don't want that. But how lovely to get up and you feel something and you could say, I'm going to lay back down for 20 more minutes. Give yourself that extra sweet time, that cushion, so that you're giving to yourself and you're caring for yourself and you're being that parent. I thank you so much for reset. Yeah, Mags, reset. And allow ourselves to let that inner child go. She's always there, but we're going to live and move and breathe and operate from a space of adulthood. And when we need it, we're going to parent ourselves, because sometimes the adult too is like, we're doing this. We must do this. This is for our own good. Let's go. The kids don't like naps. They don't like eating broccoli. They don't like taking vitamins. They don't like taking antibiotics when they're sick and they're all congested. Oh, it tastes bad. But the mom might put it in applesauce or something to disguise it. But they have, whether they're grossed out by it or not, in order to get better, they have to take the medication, right? So the parent is there to, let's get this done. Let's be that for ourselves. Let's step into that and care for ourselves the way we deserve to be cared for. And then we can't blame mommy and daddy. Their work is done. And whatever they didn't do, we can do for ourselves. So be careful, because as much as you judge them, then think about yourself, and not judge yourself, but analyze yourself. How, in a month, in 2 weeks, next week, how good am I doing with parenting myself? Am I doing the same thing they did to me that I hated, that I still complain about? Or am I now taking responsibility for me? It's a beautiful thing. It puts you back in control, in the driver's seat. You got this. You can do it. And you feel so good. I'm a responsible person. That's what you start saying. I'm taking responsibility for me and my life. Beautiful. So I appreciate you for being here. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with somebody who might need it. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss our next uh, podcast broadcast. Until the next time, please take care of yourselves with the tenderness of someone who's learning about themselves, someone who's learning to be their own home. Come home to yourself. Learn who you are. Make it warm and inviting. Decorate. Put flowers. Plant plants. Let the sun shine in. Be good to you. All right? Alejandro, sí, si puede poner el chat de WhatsApp. Good looking out, Elvin. Taveras, Taste and Travel. You look beautiful. Thank you, darling. Thank you. I went and got my hair done today. Thank you very much. Tenderness. Thanks. Love that. Y'all are the best. You're the best audience ever. I love you. You're faithful. You're loyal. You're here. You're learning. You're growing. And my hair. Thank you, darling. Oh, my sissy is here. Yes, be good to yourself, sissy boo boo. My big sister Keisha's here. Tiff, glad you enjoyed it. Okay, Alejandro, put the chat link. If you're not in the emotional wellness chat, please join. It's just where you get to know everything going on and what's coming up first. Okay, you are very welcome, Nora. It's so good to see you. What else was I gonna say? Again, the assertive communication class is going to start July 1st. We're getting prepared. Alejandro's doing the this, I'm doing the that. We're getting it together. What else? So many nuggets of wisdom, Luce. You're very welcome. So glad you enjoyed. This is a juicy topic. It's good. Please share it because people need to know. They spend their lives blaming my parents didn't do, and they did. Okay, I get it. But let's stick. My Carolyn is here. Yeah. Hey, Carolyn. Yes, be good to yourself. Let's be tender and kind and sweet to ourselves. I was gonna say something else, but I don't remember. So if it comes back to me, I'll tell it to you in the chat. All right. I don't know what the topic is next week. We'll figure it out, but I'll see you then. Be well. Mwah. Love you all. Take good care of yourselves. All right. See you soon.